John, things going well for the team, the squad at the moment, but a disappointment Monday night, I suppose. That the game was called off because a lot of the young lads might have got a run.
Yeah, of course, obviously it was disappointing, but these things happen in football and we just have to get on with it, you know. We focus now on Friday and look forward to the rescheduled game when it comes.
And 30 points at this stage of the season when you started, did you think you'd have 30 points?
Well, obviously I thought we could do very well, you know. We were quite confident inside the camp, like a lot of people outside didn't think we'd do so well, but I think inside everyone kind of felt, you know, we'd a good chance, like, you know, of just taking one game at a time and see where that gets us.
And the older players in the squad, the Dan Murrays, Colin Healy's, a great help, I'm sure.
Yeah, fantastic, like, you know, even Carney there as well, and Nulls, players like that, like, you know, every day you go training and you're training with them, you just learn things from them. It's great, like, but, you know, even their performances this season have been outstanding. Like, everyone looks at the young lads, but I think the performances of the older lads as well have really helped us, like, to be fair.
How frustrating, John, has it been? You know, obviously the team are doing well, so it's probably harder to get into the team, you know, but how frustrating has it been for yourself and the bunch of players that were referring to as the fringe players?
I suppose, yeah, it's been a bit frustrating, but like, we're a team and we want the team to do well. So when the team are doing well, everyone's kind of happy, you know. And obviously, it was disappointing Monday, you know, a lot of lads probably would have got a run. But these things happen and I'm sure everyone will get their chance when it comes.
Yeah, the squad ethics, so like.
Sorry?
It's the squad ethic.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody's in this and we're all in it together.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. That's definitely how it is, like, and even the atmosphere around the Camp Nou and stuff it's very good in fairness, like.
You know, when you're not in the team, it's not kind of a little bit extra difficult to go training and keep performing and training all the time. Like,
of course you do, I suppose, but you do as well when you're in a team, like, so it doesn't make much of a difference. But obviously, like, it's tough when you go on training and you're not in the team, like, and things like that. But you just have to get on with it, like, you know. And I suppose if you're playing well in training, you're enjoying training and stuff like that, and your chance will come eventually. So it's just about taking that.
On Monday night, then, like, is there that extra edge this week in training?
Yeah, there would be, I suppose. Like, we had a tough enough session now yesterday, and today was light enough. But with the weather and stuff now, it's tough in the body, I suppose, the last 2 days. But yeah, every week is every week, you know, the tempo in training be very good and stuff. It's the more the tempo in training, the easier it is for players to get up to the tempo in matches, like. So yeah, tempo is good, yeah, in training.
After one time, you can have your eye now on the cup match against St. Martin's. You know, as regards, that'll be the game where you get a run on the last Monday night. Yeah,
well, maybe, you know, nobody really knows what kind of team he's going to pick, you know, like, it's a big cup, like, so, you know.
He has been promising the French players 90 minutes.
For the cup game, is it?
Well, for Monday night as well, I mean, it's kind of become a bit of an urgency for him.
Any cup at all?
Yeah, I suppose, well, like, when players come in, hopefully we'll be able to do the job or whatever, but I think when we do come in, we have to do the job as such, and like, it's a big cup, the FAI Cup, so we can't be getting knocked out of that too early.
How many initial starts do you had this year, or even going on as a sub?
I think out of the first 11, I think I had 9 appearances.
9, right.
But that's between starts and coming on, like, I'm not too sure.
And you got a goal, you got a very vital goal.
Goal against Bray, as my first league goal, so it's another bonus this season, I suppose.
John, do you see yourself more as a defender or a midfielder?
It's a question I'm asked a lot, really, and it's a tough one to answer, like, because when I'm playing right back, I like to get forward and stuff, like, but obviously your first job as a right back is to defend, like. But I'm easy, really. It doesn't bother me whether I'm playing midfield, centre mid, right mid. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest.
Like, would you play midfield for Ringman?
Schoolboys? Yeah, schoolboys. I was always kind of centre mid with Ringman, but with the Cork Schoolboys League and stuff, then I kind of played right back. So that's where that came from.
I suppose, like, on the one hand, your versatility means you probably get more runs off the bench and that you can fit in more positions, but maybe it's kind of a bit of a barrier then to actually nailing down a starting spot in that, you know, you're not pigeonholed into one position. Yeah, I agree with you. Alright, to be fair, you know, it's easier if you've one set position, like, but I think in the long run it probably helps. Yeah. Overall, you know, with injuries and stuff like that, like, so it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. But I suppose in the next couple of years I kind of have to pin down
one position, you know,
Yeah.
and kind of hopefully make that my own, but time will tell.
Well, it develops your overall game as well, doesn't it? Or the fact that you can fill so many positions.
Yeah, I think so. Playing in different positions, you do different things, you know, and I suppose doing different things, you develop more as a player. So hopefully in time to come now, as I say, I'll set down one position or whatever.
How much of a step up did you find last season when Tommy gave you your chance?
Yeah, it was very tough, alright, to be fair. Like, looking on from the sideline and stuff, you wouldn't think it's such a step.
Yeah.
But it's just when you get into the game and feel the tempo of the game, it's very tough, you know. I think my first game was up in Shells, and it was actually on a very hot evening as well. And I kind of grew into the game a bit, but you don't realise actually how big the step up is until you actually play.
And were you surprised to kind of establish yourself so quickly in the squad at the, like, I suppose, the second half of last season?
Yeah, I was, I suppose, to be fair, yeah. Like, even last year, you look at, there was loads of quality in the squad last year, like, so I was kind of just training, happy enough to be training and around things, but once I got my chance, I was delighted, kind of kept in the team for a couple of games, and my confidence kind of grew from there, so yeah, I was surprised, yeah.
And would you even notice an improvement in yourself compared to a year ago?
Yeah, definitely, I think so. Like, from under 19s, like, it's a good level at that age, like, but you know, you have to kind of step up, as it says, like, and you'd see physically and kind of mentally as well, different things happen in your head. But I think the main thing would be just kind of my physical aspect of my game has kind of improved in the last year, I think.
And is there any area that you're focusing on now to take it to the next level again?
Yeah, I think as a player you always have to look at areas you can improve on, and in the last couple of weeks there's things I've identified that I need to improve on, and I'm going to work on them now and hopefully improve them.
Contract-wise, John, have you the rest of this season, next year as well, is it?
No, just the 1 year. So
End of this season.
yeah, end of the season.
So hopefully you'll be open for open negotiations. So
Hopefully. Hopefully anyway. Yeah, hopefully.
How many years are you at the club now? Go right back when you left.
This is my third year, 2 year with the 19s, and this is my first full season with the senior squad.
So 3 years with City, 3 years.
Yeah.
John, a great 7 days, 9 points in the league, but a bit of a disappointment, and probably an opportunity for yourself missed on Monday night to give some of the fringe fellas, as we call them, a full 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was an unusual situation really, because obviously, you know, we came back after the 2 defeats, and then I suppose we were being questioned and a bit of the character of the team, whatever, and like we had really 3 super victories, to be fair. Like, it was hard going, and you know, we had 2 clean sheets on top of that, and we done very well. And then obviously you're in the quarter final of the League Cup, you're away to Shamrock Grove, it's a huge game, and we had no choice but to make quite a lot of changes because the lads were just absolutely whacked out, to be fair, and then it was a huge opportunity for the guys, you know, with the team done, with the team shape done the day before. All the lads knew they were playing, and then you get to Dublin, and you know, the game had to be postponed because the pitch was waterlogged. But it was you know, a catch-22 for me, because it was a real opportunity for the lads, because they've been on the bench for quite a while and they really wanted to show themselves and prove it, and I needed to have a right look at them as well, because you're seeing them every day at training, and a lot of them have really stepped up to the mark. And you know, you saw young Kavanagh, Dave O'Leary, Turner, they're all, Rob Leanne, they're all really busted, you know, and they really stepped up, and you really wanted to see them. And you know, but look, the game is off, and then another way, as you're saying, look, maybe does it give you an opportunity down the road that you'll have more bodies back the next time you come around. So, you know, but for the lads themselves, they were gutted. I don't think, you know, I think for the lads that have been on the bench, they were just, you know, you could see in the bus coming home, they were just devastated, you know. But look, we just got back down the road as quick as we could. We went training Tuesday morning, and we trained very hard yesterday morning, and look at, you know, because we know how crucial Athlone is on Friday night, and as I said, that night driving out of St. Pat's, we were 4 points off Pat's after 2 defeats and 4th in table. You know, and a week later we're back up to second. We're 2 points off the dog. So it's a crazy league, and I keep saying we're 2 games from the break. And you know, we're close and we need another, you know, if we can get another positive result, it keeps us right in there for after the break.
I suppose a big plus from Monday night was it gave you an opportunity to rest the guys that have been in the team.
Yeah.
You'd have had to sprinkle some few handful of them around the team Monday night.
Yeah, but I suppose if you're used to 6 hours on a bus, Billy, would you call that rest? But I suppose, the consolation was at least the lads got to bed probably by about 11 o'clock as opposed to 2 in the morning. But you know, it's like people just don't understand. I often remember Paul doing it once when he was down here. He didn't realise, he said he couldn't believe the amount of travelling. They just don't understand, and like at the end of the day, like it's you know, it's the travelling is massive and it takes a huge toll. Look, it doesn't bother me because I suppose all my life I've been on the road, so sitting in a car and driving up to Sligo or driving up to Donegal wouldn't bother me. But like to play a match is a different story, and we were used to it, but it's difficult. But at the same time, look, these guys don't complain, they put their head down. You can't complain, you just get on with it. These are the circumstances. We're from Cork, where, you know, and that we know these things at the start of the season. And but at the same time, look, guys didn't play the match, so you know it was probably the one thing probably was after Friday night, because we'd done so little on Sunday, other than the lads who were starting. Probably it did mean, all right, the lads who played Friday night, it was nearly Tuesday before we actually trained properly again. So you know, so they had a bit of a break, and look at the lads are fresh and obviously you know there's going to be a few changes this Friday because Billy's suspended.
Could a decision have been made earlier, do you think, to postpone the game?
I suppose the only thing I'd say then is in the current climate where pitches are so good, you know what I mean, and there's so much. The drainage is so good on the pitches, and the grounds when are on site all the time. It's probably it's seldom you see a game called off. So to be fair, like when we arrived at the ground, as you're walking out onto it, it looked perfect.
Yeah.
You know, so then when you walk, and to be fair to Paul Chute, when he spoke to me, I said, look, Paul, look, it's your call, but make the call now. And you know, I suppose should he have waited an hour and hoped that, you know, it was a cloudy night, and you know, like he just made a call, and he was right. You know what I mean? Because when we were getting onto the bus, instead of shouting again, but you know, so I think that it was probably very hard for him to make a call earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
the under-19 European Championships running this week as well.
yeah.
So it's actually been taken over today.
Yes, and plus the fact I think there was a rugby. They were saying there was 4 matches this week. So after our match Monday night, there was another 4 matches.
6 by next Monday. They were playing all the group games there, the 6 of them.
Right, yeah. Well, they were just saying, look, so it's you. So I suppose it's one of these multi-purpose pitches that's used every day, and it still looks perfect. That's in great nick. But you look at these things happen. You saw the Stanley Cup final. It rained all day, and in the last 20 minutes, the pitch was nearly unplayable. You know, so
if the game had gone ahead, it wouldn't have affected Billy's suspension, would it? Like that wouldn't have been one of the games.
No, he was in the team.
Okay.
It's this Friday. He's automatically gone for. Yeah, so he actually was in the team on Monday night, even though he probably wouldn't have been in the team if he hadn't been sent off.
Yeah.
So it was just unfortunate that we decided to play because he was going to be gone for this Friday anyway.
And is there a danger that you won't see him again before the break? Like, will it be?
Well, look at we've written in. I think Bray have written in. Look at everyone can see in the video. It was a wrong decision. The referee, to be fair, didn't see it. He had no choice. A linesman 40 yards away, you know, saw something. Like it begs to believe how he saw, because the free kick was being taken that was coming into the box. You know what I mean? And he spots something over. But look at it, at the same time, I've had a chat with Billy. At the end of the day, you still shouldn't get even push a fella anymore, because it's kind of nuts at the moment. But at the same time, let's hope common sense prevails, and that, you know, that it'll be just you know, when they look at the video evidence that they'll just leave it at the one game.
It's a big loss, obviously, given how well he's been playing, but I suppose the other side is that it opens up a chance for somebody else now to.
It does, but you see, he's our top goal scorer. Dennis, he's involved in all our play, and you know, it's a bit more than that. You know, like we don't have a guy that's coming in Billy's position.
Yeah.
You know, you have lots of options other places, but to be fair, he's probably one of the positions that really no one has come in for him. He's played every single match, so you know, that's why it's an awful blow to us. So look, we're keeping our fingers crossed that it's only this week's game, and but there is a possibility there could be every game. It could be the cup game and the Rovers game to the break. So that is a worry. So look, we believe we know by tomorrow. So hopefully that we're keeping our fingers crossed. It's only this week.
And a home game against a team you beat 3-0 away, like, will it be tough to kind of get the team to focus and not be complacent?
Will it be tough? Hopefully it won't be. You know, I keep saying we're trying to keep our feet on the ground. The guys have seen that every game this year has been dog eat dog. Like look at we were at Athlone, and after 40 minutes we'd have quite gladly gone in at 0-0 at half time because Athlone had us pinned back. We were under pressure and we created very little, and all of a sudden 2 minutes after half time we were 2-0 up, a goal in the last minute before half time, a goal straight after half time, the game was over. But Athlone were a big strong side. You know, a lot of players have moved around, a lot of players have been in the lower half of the league. So they're players that are used, that like peaking and like performing against the better teams, which is always dangerous. And I keep saying, a bit like Bray last week had beaten Sligo and Dundalk. The difference with Bray, I think Bray sensed last week that we were up for the challenge. I think they sensed that we were, you know, that they weren't going to take us easy on the night, and I think we knocked them back a bit, and that's the type of approach and attitude. The danger is, I suppose, Dennis, it's our last league match before the break, home league match before the break, and I suppose there is, you know, if you look at probably the last game against Derry, after having fantastic crowds, even though the atmosphere was good, the numbers were down, and there is that fear that people say, Athlone, it's a massive game for us, and they have to get their first win. And when you're getting beaten week after week after week, it does knock your confidence. All of a sudden, they're getting 4 points. They won last week. New managers in place, gives them a bit of a lift. So I just hoping that, you know, because the team have done so well, I just hope really that people make a huge effort. A lot of people that stayed away at the last match against Derry, that they come out and hopefully we can get 4,500 people really to get us that victory.
Was it disappointing that the Derry crowd was down and the rest of them?
Look, things are tough. Money is very tight. Look at and the competition is savage, and like I would never criticise anyone because we need every support we can get, and the support for us has been absolutely fantastic. You know, but at the same time, you know, I could see even where I lived, a lot of people around me didn't travel to that match, and everyone has their own reason, and it is very tough. But look, it's been, you know, I suppose, from the game before Derry, which was we passed in Darkway, it was the last game before that, Drogheda, which we had a great crowd. I'm just hoping that maybe the fact that we're after getting 3 weeks in a row, it's our last match of the league before the break. We're at home again for literally a month. I was hoping that maybe people say, look, we'll go and cheer on the lads because they got 909 last week, and we'll see can we get another 3 points to keep them in there. You know what I mean? So,
John, you talked about making a couple of changes a few minutes ago and talking about Bailey and what you said about Athlone as opposition. And bear in mind that some of those players didn't get a chance for game time on Monday night. What other sort of changes maybe can we
well, there's a couple of lads who have injuries. There's Dan and Liam Carney. Liam is probably the most serious one, and I suppose look at a lot of the games. Billy and Liam have started a lot of the games, so it's touch and go whether he'll make it. So you know, at the same time, there won't be, you know, you know, you can see by me, I like settled teams. I like guys to know exactly what we're doing, and plus the guys are in position. And the other side to that is that, like we say, with John Cavanagh there, with Dave O'Leary, these guys, they're training absolutely. Their fitness levels have come on incredibly, and as I said, maybe at the start of the season they weren't at the level that some of the other guys were in my opinion. And we've spoken to them, and they're doing an awful lot of individual stuff. But at the moment they're really knocking on the door, and I suppose that was disappointing Monday night. I really want to see them because they've really knuckled down. There's no complaining, but at the same time the team are winning every week, so it's one of those situations, you know, as any of those lads on the bench know, that if they get in and they do well and the team win, you can see by me I don't change too much. So for Friday night, obviously Billy's going to be changed. There's possibly going to be another change. Other than that, I'd say that'll probably be it. Like,
with the greatest respect to Athlone, does this sort of an opposition provide that opportunity for you to reward the lads for doing their own work on their individual games?
No, there's no. Once you show complacency, you're gone, and it's that's why in this game or in sport, that's why the element of shock is always there, because teams, no matter what level you're at, and we've seen it in every game across the world, All-Ireland finals, World Cups, anything, once you show complacency, you're gone, and there's no way that there's no such thing as reward. The reward is if a guy gets injured, a guy loses form, and a guy comes in and plays well, he holds his place. That's it. You don't mess around or juggle around with. There are competitions that we'll say, as people would know, where the likes of the Senior Cup, sometimes League Cups, that you might give guys gains because you've no choice but to see where you're at. And already this year it proved in some of those competitions that maybe we hadn't the strength that we hope we might have had. But look, in the priority competitions, you don't mess.
Darren, Jenny, Michael Rafter, they're obviously all out still.
Well, look, there's a lot of updates in the sense that, it was since our last press conference, Michael Rafter's gone in for an operation today, and Michael Rafter is gone for the season, and which is a tremendous blow for himself, because it looked like up to about a week ago that there was talk that they might have to do the operation. They might have to give him some injections. He was already after having some injections. There's talk he might be back in August if he took the injections. Then he went for a second opinion, and the whole scenario changed. And last week, so he's inside in Dublin today getting his operation done, and it's a really nervous operation for him, because they've now told him that there's no guarantees of anything from a football point of view. Okay, so we've been more or less told that he won't play for the rest of the season. So I suppose we're all keeping our fingers crossed that the operation goes okay, and that hopefully that they'll tell him that within a couple of months that he'll be able to go back and train and get himself ready for next year. But there's a lot of complications in his ankle, and unfortunately it's an awful blow to the lad, and so we were probably keeping our fingers crossed for the previous month, hoping that this scenario wouldn't come about, but he's gone under the knife today, and so Michael is gone. Darren Denny. Darren Denny's full as Adam, but he didn't train today, he didn't train yesterday. We're hoping that he might do something tomorrow. If he doesn't, we'll probably wait until kick-off on Friday. It is. Yeah, but it's a knock more than anything else. You just got a knock on it, you know what I mean. But it takes longer when it's the foot that he had the problem with, like, you know what I mean. So and Andy O'Connor we released today, and one of the young lads coming through.
On the call, wasn't
yeah, we've spoken to Cove about it, spoken to Andy about it, and again, he was gutted because he was in contention to get a run on Monday night. Didn't happen, and I suppose being realistic from now to the window, he can see that probably he wasn't going to get a run, and we had a good chat about it, and he needs games, and he's a guy who's literally been training every day with us, but it's that frustrating thing that when you don't have a second team, and he's going to Cove, and so look, it'll be great because he'll do well in Cove. He'll get 15-20 games, and that's what he needs.
And Darren Murphy obviously is still
Darren Murphy. Yeah,
struggling.
Darren Murphy is on treatment, due to come back training the week after the break, and hopefully we're just hoping that the physio is confident now that he had a lot of old injuries, and they're saying that they're going to give him that they want an extra week with him, but he's responded well, and they reckon that when he comes back he should be clear. So look, if he's clear, it'll be brilliant news, because he's had an injury. He's been injured quite a bit since the start of the season. So we just look at if he can come back after the break and he's a clean run, great. It'll be nearly like a new player to us. Danny Morrissey is training with us at the moment. Thankfully, yesterday was probably the one training session that since he's come back where it was probably very, very competitive, and it probably was the first time that Danny probably got a fair bit of whacking, and he stood up to it. He trained this morning, so look, at fingers crossed that if there's no reaction, that certainly he'll be a new player to us after the break.
Might he get a run against St. Martin's even?
No.
Too early?
No, he's not at that. It's one thing our own foot is kicking him, but he needs he just needs a little bit more time than that. Yeah.
They get a penalty tomorrow night, or Friday night, what do we do? No Billy Denny.
Well, obviously Colin took it last week. I just think it's a huge game for us, and it's just vital that we don't, it's vital that we just don't slacken off after doing so much hard work in the last week. So look at it, and I give Athlone the respect that they have, because at the end of the day they're a good side. Okay.